Hello everyone, this is Sports Freak Guys here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to complete some of the hardest NASCAR the game inside the line highlight challenges. Now these highlight challenges are basically challenges where you try to remake history or you try to change history by going into the situations that real NASCAR drivers faced in the real events back in 2011, 2012, and now even in 2013. So these challenges include, I don't know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Martinsville. You had Mark Martin at Pocono with Joey Logano. You had just so many other events, and I'm going to be showing you some of the hard ones here. But basically these highlight challenges, they run on telemetry data, so if you're like trying to bump into one of these cars, you're going to probably spin out based on how loose these cars are. So telemetry data, this game's a lot harder than the last game, and the telemetry data definitely makes it difficult to like not hit cars. It really forces you to race clean on these challenges and not like wreck people to win. So with that said, that telemetry caused it was very hard to very hard to continue on with this game because even though I'm very good at this game in terms of the super speedways, I've got a great setup that really competes with people online. I mean, really big. In fact, beats people out on champion on offline. But the majority of the race courses, I just couldn't keep up for some reason. With the online, they'd be able to beat me by just by a little bit each lap, but that's enough, to really add up and really gain a lead. So between how hard career mode was on champion and how tough it was to really win online against anybody with the exception of the super speedway courses, which I could do pretty well at, it was a pretty hard game, so I sent it back to GameFly, which I currently pay for, which is a great company. If you ever want to try GameFly out, go see my other video on GameFly. Really great company to rent your games from. Really worth it. So anyway, I'm gonna go over some of the hardest challenges, and I'm gonna go over how to when to brake. What's your bread and butter for these courses, because there really is a way to do this that I've seen. So right now we're on my gamer tag right there, or not gamer tag, that's Xbox. How about PS3? My PSN is Kings-fan_1. Of course, you always can add me if you can. Giants fan and Kings stay put. Sacramento Kings staying in Sacramento. Yes. Okay, so let's go over to the trophy collection to just prove that I've completed all these highlight challenges already. So it's not like, he's lying to us. He hasn't completed them. 55% on all my trophies here, of all the trophies here. So I've got, some of the easier ones. Short track, contender, blah, 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 go all the way down. What really matters in this case, challenge complete, silver trophy, complete all the inside line highlight challenges. Now, so those are what I was just telling you about, so I'm going to go to the events now that were pretty much the hardest ones on here, with the exception of the Tony Stewart one, where you have to come through the field, because in that one, you pretty much have to wreck everybody in the field because your car is absolutely unhandleable regardless of what you do. I am sorry, but it is like unhandleable, and you can't gain any speed off the corners. You just have to wreck the field. And people on YouTube are like, yeah, we pretty much all had to wreck the field, so I'm not alone on all these. So let's go over to the videos right now. The three challenges I'm going to show you how to do are Indy Challenge, Championship Thief, and Beat Wonder Boy. And then I'll show you a race replay of one of the easier challenges about the last lap pass at Daytona. So first, let's go to the Indy Challenge. Now, Jeff Gordon is my favorite NASCAR driver. I'm a huge NASCAR fan, watch it every week. So in this challenge, Jeff Gordon has to catch up with Menard and beat him with like 5 or so laps to go to win the Brickyard 400. The nice thing about this challenge is your car handles a lot better on this challenge than it does on pretty much all the other challenges. Still, it is loose coming off the corner, so you got to be careful about that. So I'll pause in between segments of this to really give you a hint on what exactly to do to beat these challenges, because I've tried them for hours and I finally beat them using a lot of tricks and methods, and it finally all worked together on one thing. So let's go over the Indy Challenge, shall we? So as we can see here at the start of the game, okay, start of the game, here we go. We got Jeff Gordon coming down, passing the line there, and then you're going to go into this first turn, right? This first turn, very crucial on this very first turn, okay? On this turn, you have to come into the turn like you're going to pass this guy. This guy in front of you here, this blue car or whatever, this number 34, he's really, really slow. So you really need to pass him or else you're going to be kind of screwed. I've realized with all my other races, if I'm behind that guy going into the backstretch, then I might as well just start over because there's no way that I can get to the rest if I'm stuck behind this guy for like half a lap. Time is crucial. You have to make every second you can. So it's very important you come down the corner, you try to go in hard, and then you're going to use this move, alright? So as you can see, I'm going high up here, and then I'm going to do the nice little crossover right there on him, and then I'm going to be side by side with him going in the corner. Now turns 1 and 2 in this game, you have to play really, really carefully, because you could easily go slow and still try to almost spin out like I did there. So at this point, you really want to be at least a car length or so ahead of that guy, and then you're pretty well to go, and then try to get up to everybody else. Now I'm going to tell you one thing right here. Turns 3 and turns 4 up here on this side of the speedway, they are your bread and butter. They are seriously the places you're going to make up a bunch of time on these guys. Turns 1 and 2, you're going to be lucky just to keep up with them. But in 3 and 4, you're going to make a heck of a lot of time because your car really doesn't go downhill at all because you got new tires. So it's very crucial that you make up your time in 3 and 4. Now in turn 3, I go into it very hard usually. And then I go up the racetrack about halfway and then come really close to the wall right there. And I do that pretty much every lap. There are a few times I hit it, which is okay. It is okay to do that, hit the wall. But just don't try to, do it a lot or do it hard. And in turn 4, you want to go slow. In fact, you might want to go a little bit too slow to ensure that you ain't going to spin off the corner. And then you want to just floor it and then just slam it down the front straightaway. So again, when you're done with this first lap, you want to really have cut the distance to Mark Martin down to just a little bit. And again, at this point, you want to just stay with them. You're not going to get closer. That won't happen until later. So again, you want to come out the corner just the same. Make sure that you just feather it in. Now, the nice thing with this, as you're going to see here, is that I'm catching up to Mark pretty quickly. And that's because that even though the telemetry, I'm going to pause it right here, the telemetry is on, all right? Telemetry and stuff. The draft still works. So the draft is your advantage because you can draft these cars and it will work. So again, Mark Martin right here, you want to dig in really hard right here and then just try to keep up enough speed, and I don't care if you hit the wall like that, just keep in front of Mark Martin. You want to get past him at this point. And then again, turn 4, you want to go just a little slow, and then you just want to hammer it coming out of the corner. But again, you want to hammer it when you know for sure that you'd be able to handle that car. Now, for most cases, you might want to feather it in a little bit. But you really do want to have a nice... You don't want to slam it per se, but you want to at least, you feather it in a little bit harder than you have on all the rest of the corners. Turn 3 and 4, you can do that. Turns 1 and 2, you really can't. So I paused it right here specifically because what I'm about to do here is very bold, and I don't think you should try doing this. So I got such a huge overrun on my Mard that I tried to just pass him 3 laps early, which is not a wise thing to do. Caused me to go all the way up track because I really was lacking grip because I was going way too fast entering the corner. And again, turn 2, I was making about a little bit of time right there, but I tried to make up too much time and hit the wall right there, but it didn't really hurt me, like I said. Now, at this point, you want to just stay behind Menard. Wait for your opportunity to pass Menard. Okay, so right now, as you can see, I went really up the track there trying to get to him. At this point, I was really just trying to get right to Menard and do it. But you know what? I wasn't patient. I'm not usually patient with NASCAR games, and that's what you got to be with these challenges. Wait for your moment to go on. So at this point, with about 2 laps, I think this is 2 laps left to go now, you really want to just be behind Menard, wait for your opportunity. You don't want your opportunity to come to turn 1 or turn 2, because, you can... It's a lot easier to do it in 3 and 4. However, I was a little bit different, and I'll explain why on the next lap. But right now, I just want to keep in distance with Menard, keep doing what I was doing, feathering it out, coming out of the turns, going into the turns, driving it in hard, not coming out too far, just drafting behind Menard, getting there a little closer, picking up some time on him, because as the run goes through, you're not going to make up as much time on these guys through the corners. You're going to make up a good amount of time on them, but not as much as you had in the first 2 laps, and that's why you were able to pass those guys very early. So, right now, we're still going through it. Right now, you're coming out of the corner. You want to be right behind Menard. And this is one thing you got to notice. Menard's going to go down. He's going to go down like this, okay? And this is very crucial because if he goes down like that, you're either going to have to give up a lot of speed going into the corner, or you're seriously going to cause a problem for yourself, because if you come into contact with Menard, because he's on telemetry, he ain't going to move. So you're most likely going to go into the wall, and this whole thing's been for nothing. So in my case, unless you're in front of Menard at that point, you're going to have to take the high side on turn 1, regardless if you pass him there or not. Now in my case, I tried to go up high and hit it off the wall there, and come up in front of him. He gave me a little bump right there. So at this point, I'm in front of Menard. Now all you have to do, make it out of turn 2. Make it out of there. If you hit the wall, that doesn't really matter, because he's going to give you a huge bump like that. Be enough to keep you ahead, just enough to get in front of him like that. Down this back straightaway. His telemetry data is not going to affect him. He can't do anything to you. Turn 3, again, it's your bread and butter. Keep doing what you've been doing on turn 3 and get a good run off it. Just like there. And again, turn 4, at this point, I was just like, just make me through turn 4 to get it out. So, in your case, just try to make it through turn 4 like you have done all the other times. Feather it out and then slam it. And then you're going to get a win just like that. And I don't know why it pauses there, but okay. So that's that. Championship Thief. Okay, this is where you have to catch up to Tony Stewart with 2 laps to go with Carl Edwards and win the championship. So, this is how you do it this time. Turns 1 and 2, again, are not your bread and butter. It's 3 and 4. Turns 1 and 2, you just try to keep with the guy, but you can make some distance up. Now, it's very crucial that you try to go up high with Carl Edwards, just enough to where you can, let off the gas. Put it in hard, in the gas, let off a little bit, hit the brake a little bit, and then get a nice run off turn 2. It's very hard because your car is going to want to spin out a little bit, but you got to try to do that. In turn 3, you want to go a little bit deeper each time, because I try not to usually run the brake at all on this, because you can get a huge run off 4 like that and cut the lead in like half. Very crucial on this last lap. So anyway, you want to do that. You want to stay high on the last turn. You want to stay high right here, and you'll be able to catch up to Tony Stewart like that. You may not be able to get the greatest run off turn 2, but you're going to be enough just to get him there. And then on this last lap, you want to hold in the throttle a pretty long time, go in as far as you can, let off, and then just have it to where you can time it just perfectly to where you can get off the corner and not lose yourself, and you're going to be right in front of Tony Stewart just like that. So basically, stay on the highest side, go in like middle, and then go up. Try not to use as much brake as possible. Use a little bit of brake, especially in turns 1 and 2, and so you're going to have to use it there. But in 3 and 4, try to use it just as little as possible, and then try to get a good run off the corner without spinning your car out again. Because again, your car is loose. Okay, your car is loose, and it's the same thing with all these. Finally, we have Beat Wonderboy. Now, this is the challenge where you have to take Jimmy Johnson and beat Jeff Gordon. This challenge is the hardest challenge in the game in terms of a loose race car. Jimmy Johnson's car is loose as heck. It is so loose that you can't even drive it. Alright, so we're coming across the line there, and we are going to come to this turn. Okay, turn 1 and 2. So, at this point, this first lap, you want to just stay as close to Gordon as you can before making your move on the last lap. So what I suggest you do is, again, just like Homestead, you want to go into the middle, let off, just to where you can get to the high side, slide right up there, and then get a good run off. But your car's going to be really loose. You might have to feather it even onto the front straightaway. Seriously, it is that loose. You might have to just feather your car all the way. You can't slam your gas here. Now, one thing you don't want to do, like I just did there, was I slammed in the back of Gordon. I thought at that point the race was over for me, but my car stayed straight, so it was kind of a miracle. On this case too, he came in front of me just enough to where I could do a crossover, and that got me a good run coming into this last time. Now, I got the distance between him and I into about 1/2. So now what you can do on this last lap, your car's going to have no grip at all. It's going to have barely any grip. So you seriously want to dig it deep down as you can into turn one and slide just up, come right next to Gordon. And again, like the car is like spinning out right there, but Gordon's going slow too. You can't forget that. On this last turn, I'm going to tell you one thing on this last turn. It is just a stroke of luck. That is really all it is. Because right now you have to go high, because he's going to go low, and then you just have to pray that you hit it at that very, very moment, that you can slam on the throttle basically and get him. You can't like slam it, but just like very strong feather it. And if you do it just right, your car will not spin around. And I mean, I almost did there too, but that's how hard of a challenge it is. You don't have any grip on your car, and then I would win that race. And that's how you beat Wonder Boy. So basically, all of these challenges, I mean, except with the latter two challenges that I showed you, stay in the middle, go up high, don't use a lot of brake, and try to get a good run off the corner with strong feathering. That is my key to you guys. And 3 and 4, always your bread and butter for these things. Not necessarily in 3 and 4 in the Atlanta one and beat Wonder Boy. It's not really your bread and butter. 1 and 2 is your bread and butter in that one because you can really make up a lot of time. You just have to make it count when it counts. Now I'm going to show you this race replay right here of the Daytona challenge. Now this is an easier challenge, and so it probably won't take too many people that long to do this right. I mean, it's a pretty easy challenge. But one thing you don't want to do is get out of the draft and think you can pass the guy in the first turn. Because I did that. I thought I could do that there, went out of the groove, and then that really screwed me up. Thank goodness I was able to get back in the draft before I got stoned out again. I tried to pass him again on the backstretch, didn't work, got back in line. So now we're going down the backstretch. Then I tried to pass him again on the high side right here. Does not work. I get back in line. Thank goodness I wasn't wrecked by Earnhardt. He was all over my bumper, but Earnhardt was able to give me just a little bit of a bump and a little bit of a run with Matt Kenseth's draft side to where it came a close finish right there. And even though it probably won't be that close for all you guys, I'll show you a picture of that finish, how it actually was. Let's see here. This was the actual finished photo that I took on the replay because I couldn't believe I actually won. I thought I had lost the race. That's how close of a finish it was. And then the last close finish that I had was this one. Close victory. This was in the Charlotte Challenge where Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran out of gas. Kevin Harvick tried to come up. I ran out of gas, and I just barely got to the line right before he was. And that's, I think, the closest finish in NASCAR history. Unfortunately, it didn't count in terms of a finish because this was a highlight, but if it were a real race, I'd probably be about 1/1000th of a second, probably, because that is really close. So anyway, that is how you beat some of the challenges on NASCAR the Game, Inside Line, the highlight challenges. If you have any questions, comments, tips, ideas, just anything to where you could either use more help from me or you could offer me some advice on some things, that'd be great. Just comment, like, subscribe, just do all that good stuff. And I know it's been a while, guys, since my last video, but I cannot wait to start making a little bit more videos again. I don't do video game videos too often because this is standard def and it takes a little bit of time for me to set up and stuff. But when I do, I always make it good for you guys. So until my next video, guys, I hope you have a good one, and thanks for watching. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe if you really like my videos. Good night, everybody.